Okay, good morning. So it looks like some people are still waiting to log in, but we'll go ahead and get started. So I hope everybody had a good weekend. And let's see, we're almost reaching the third point of the semester, and spring break is in a couple weeks. All right. So and just as a reminder, example 3.1 and example 4.3 are both due today. So if you haven't turned those in, most people have already turned them in. But if you haven't turned those in, make sure you post those by today. Okay. So today we're going to do example 4.4 in chapter 4 in your textbook. And then I think on Wednesday, we'll do a little review, some practice problems for the take home midterm, the first midterm. And so it's basically like just a long set of the practice problems put together as like a take home exam. And so we'll talk about that on Wednesday. Okay, and then example 4.4 and the first midterm exam 1, the take home, those will both be due next Monday, on March 8th. So we're still like a day behind because we're catching up from President's Day, but yeah, we're almost caught up. All right, so these two things we'll do this week, Monday and Wednesday, respectively, and then both of them will be due on Monday, March 8th. All right, and so might need a little more time for the take home midterm, but it shouldn't take you too long. Usually it's like a 2 hour test in class, and so I don't think it'll take you more than 2 hours, if that, maybe even much less. Okay, so today we'll do example 4.4. This will be the last new item before the midterm, and then Wednesday we'll discuss the midterm, talk about some practice problems, and yeah. And if you wanted to get a head start on the midterm, there's already some stuff posted on Blackboard. All right, so let's go ahead and do and get started on example 4.4 today. Where is everyone today? There's only 5 people here right now. Well, anyway.
Only the strong survive.
Yes. All right, so you can open up the blending oil Excel file. Oh, there we go. All right, and you can go ahead and open up the example 4.4 Word document with the formulas. All right, we'll get to the practice problems later. So let me read the little descriptor for this example before we do that. But you'll need the blending oil file in a minute, and then example 4.4. Okay, so example 4.4, blending at Chandler Oil. So Chandler Oil has 5,000 barrels of crude oil 1 and 10,000 barrels of crude oil 2 available, and they're going to sell gasoline and heating oil by combining combinations of the two types. Okay, so the products are produced by blending together the two crude oils. Each barrel of crude oil 1 has a quality level of 10, and each barrel of crude oil 2 has a quality level of 5. All right, so gasoline must have an average quality level of 8, and heating oil must have an average quality level of 6. Okay, gas sells for $25 a barrel, and heating oil sells for $20 a barrel. and let's assume that demand for each is unlimited. So if we were able to supply it, someone's going to buy it, and so that all of the production can be sold. And so Chandler wants to maximize revenue from selling gasoline and heating oil. So we're going to use a little blending model to do a revenue maximizing example for this hypothetical company. Okay, so if you look here at what we're about to do, these are the value, or this is the like the wholesale price of crude oil 1 and crude oil 2. Okay, with the quality level of each. And then this is the market price that you sell gasoline and heating oil, right? And you got to meet the average quality. And so there's kind of one little trick in this model in that, well, it's not really a trick, but if we have if we don't use all of the barrels of crude oil 1 and or crude oil 2, we can sell the leftovers, right? If we have leftovers, we can sell them at these prices, like sell them back to the wholesaler. And so we want to use them all to make gasoline and heating oil, but if we have any leftovers, then we can just sell those back if they didn't work out in some combination. And so there's essentially 4 things we can possibly sell, which are gasoline, heating oil, and then we can also sell back crude oil 1 and crude oil 2 at the wholesale price. All right, and so we're going to develop a little model here to maximize revenue for this firm. All right, and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so first thing we'll do, like normal, is let's make a note of the inputs in light blue, the decision variables in light red, the objective cell. We'll highlight that yellow, and then let's make a note of the constraints. Remember that we're going to have to specify in the solver parameters.
Are you on your Excel file right now, or are you looking at the Word?
I'm looking at the Word document. Can you not see
Oh,
that?
okay. No, I see the Word. I thought you were on the Excel.
Oh no, I went back. I'm just showing you.
Okay.
Yeah, we're about to do step 1, but I'll go right back to the.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're back on the Excel file. All right, so let's make a note of our inputs first, which are light blue, and so the values and the quality levels for the 2 crude oil types, those are inputs. Okay, can highlight those light blue. The selling prices and the quality required for each of the gas and heating oil, those are also inputs, so you can highlight that little area, light blue. Okay, and also what we have available for each type to start with is an input, or our inputs, under available. So get those ones, and then let's see, we're deciding. All right, so the decision variables are kind of weird. We're deciding how much crude oil 1 and 2 to put into each type, right? So that means that these 4 cells, B13 to C14, are going to be the 4 decision variable cells. And so you can highlight that range, light red, because that's the decision variable range. I don't have an option for, I guess, red here, so let's just use light orange, I guess. Okay, and then our objective is to maximize revenue, which is cell B24. So you can highlight B24, the objective color, which is highlight yellow. Okay, then let's specify our constraints. We have a resource constraint. We can't use more of each type than we have available, so that means that this has to be less than or equal to that for crude oil 1, and this has to be less than or equal to that for crude oil 2. So let's put less than or equal to here and here to denote constraints. All right, so there's our resource constraint. We also have a quality constraint. So we have to meet the required average quality for each type. So that means that this, when we solve it, has to be greater than or equal to this, and this has to be greater than or equal to this. So let's put our other constraints here with a greater than or equal to here and here to show the quality constraints. All right, and we're also I'm going to put in a little sidebar here because when we solve the model, the quality constraints look a little weird in terms of how you're solving it. And so if you put a little section over here in F17, or sorry, E17, and let's call this quality constraints in intuitive form. Okay, and then right here in what is this? E18. Let's title this gasoline. And right here, let's call this heating oil. Okay, and so because this is going to be like the total quality for each, it won't make sense in terms of the 8 and the 6 for the average quality you have to meet. So we're going to make sure that that makes sense over here by showing that when we take the average, or when we divide by the number of barrels, that comes out to an average of 8 and 6 respectively when we do that. And so let's put greater than or equal to here and here. And we're just going to say that average gasoline has to be greater than or equal to 8 to meet that quality requirement. So just put an 8 here in E21. And we're going to say in F21, this has to be greater than or equal to 6 to make that requirement. Okay, and so we need this to solve the model, but this will confirm like it makes sense intuitively. And so you'll see that the average number of gasoline, or the average quality in the gasoline comes out to 8, and this comes out to 6. All right, so we'll come back to that, but this is just to make sense that, or to make clear that the model makes sense when we solve it. All right, I think we've set this up, and the next step I think is to make our range names. Yeah. All right, so I know we need a range name for both sides of the constraints, the decision variable range, and the objective. So let's start with those. We're going to make a manual constraint for the whole decision variable range. If you want to select the orange area. Okay, if you want to select B13 to C14 right there, the orange cells I highlighted, let's call that whole range up in the namebacks. Let's call it blending plan. All right, so we have to manually name it. up here. Okay, so if you call that blending underscore plan and hit enter, okay, you should see that the name of that whole range, those 4 cells together, is blending plan. All right, so we're going to need that when we specify the solver, and that way we take care of the whole blending plan at once. So B13 to C14 is blending plan. Then let's make our other range names for the constraints. So for used, okay, select D12 to D14, and then formulas, create from selection, top row, okay. Let's do the same for available. Select F12 to F14, formulas, create from selection, top row, okay. We're going to need it for quality obtained, and then the other side of the constraint, which is quality required. So if you want to select A19 to C19, and then formulas, create from selection, this time left column, okay. Let's do quality required. A21 to C21, formulas, create from selection, left column, okay. And I know we need one for total revenue because that's our objective, so you can select A24 to B24, formulas, create from selection, left column, okay. Okay, and we need a few more in addition to those. I think we need one for barrels sold and for leftover. So if you want to do barrels sold, which is A15 to C15, right? And then same thing, formulas, create from selection, left column, okay. And then leftover is, nothing's there yet, but this is the range. G12 to G14, formulas, create from selection, top row, okay. Okay, so I think that's all of them. Let me hit under formulas name manager, if you want to click that and confirm that we got the same ones. We got available, we got barrels sold, we got blending plan, we got leftover, we got quality obtained, we got quality required, we got total revenue, and we have used. So yeah, those are the ones we need. And so double check your range names and let me know if we need any of those repeated. And make sure you have blending plan was done manually. You had to select B13 to C14 and then manually call it blending plan up in the name box. All right, so we're good on these, okay? All right, step 3 is easy. We just need to put some numbers into the decision variable range. So let's put any numbers into B13 to C14, the orange cells. Okay, so in this range, let's just put anything in for now, because solver's gonna figure out the optimal values. So I'm just gonna put ones in for now. All right, so in B13 to C14, you can just put ones in those cells for now, and we'll get back to those later. But again, in the decision variable range, we always need to have values that solver can change for us. Okay. All right, so now let's calculate inputs used and leftover and outputs sold. So let's start with putting getting barrels sold in B15 to C15. Okay, so the total barrels sold is just the sum of the two items in the column. So for barrels sold in B15, the formula is equals sum sum B13 to B14, right? All right, and then you can apply that formula over to heating oil. So just click on this formula and grab the bottom right corner of B15 and drag it over to C15 like this. Okay, and they should just have, the sum is just 2 for now. Okay, and then let's get the sum of how much crude oil 1 we use. Okay, in D13 to D14. All right, so here, use just the sum of the now going across the row. So in D13 equals sum. Sum B13 to C13. Enter. Okay, and you can apply that down. Just grab the bottom right corner of D13 and drag it down 1. That. And then leftover is going to be what we have left over, if any, after what we use in each of the types. Okay, so in leftover, in G13, it should just be equals available minus used equals F13 minus D13. Okay, and then we'll do the same for the next cell. So grab the bottom right corner of G13 and drag it down like that. There we go. All right, and so we should have these numbers for now. Yeah.
Wait, could you do that again?
Yeah, the leftover part?
Yeah.
Okay, so in leftover, all we're going to do is get leftover is just what's left over after what we had available minus what we use. So leftover is going to be that minus that. And leftover for G13 is just equals F13 minus D13. Enter. And you can just shortcut apply it down by grabbing the bottom right corner of G13 and drag it down 1 there like that. And this one should be equals F14 minus D14.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Okay, everybody good so far? Good. All right. Next step is to confirm the quality achieved. In B19, let's put in this sum product formula. Okay, so in B19 equals sum product okay equals sum product B13 to C14, comma $C $4 to $C $5. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're getting the total quality for all of it. So see how you're using this much crude oil 1 and this much crude oil 2, and then this is the average quality for each. So the total quality is going to be that times that plus that times that, right? So it's going to give you the multiple of these two items, which for now is going to be 15. And I believe we can drag that formula over to the heating oil section. So if you got that, you can grab the bottom right corner of B19 and drag it over like this. Okay, and that should do the one for heating oil. So see how it's the sum product of how much of each barrel we use for heating oil, and you multiply those by their sum product average qualities. So again, 10 times 1 plus 5 times 1 is going to be 15 for now. Okay, and then we need to specify the quality required in the next step. All right, so in cell B21, we'll put that formula in, this is step 6 now. So here we go, in B21, it's just equals B9 times B15. So the quality required is we need, each of the barrels has to have at least 8. So the total requirement is 8 times 2, right? So if we have 2 barrels and the total quality has to be the 8 for each, so it's going to be 16 for now. And let's apply that formula over to heating oil. So just grab the bottom right corner of B21 like this and drag it over. Okay, so there's the,
Hey, Professor.
yeah.
When I did that, I got 0. Oh, I see why. I see why.
You fix it?
So for C15, is there a formula in that?
This one?
C15, yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh,
this
you dragged it over.
yeah, I dragged it over. So this is,
Got
it's
you.
just the sum of these two. Yeah, so it should
Yeah,
be
yeah. Got it.
sum.
Thanks.
Okay, that work?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, so for now we got 16 here and 12 here, but these are going to change based on the number that we use of each. But we're just confirming that the total quality obtained is equal to the total quality required, and it'll make more sense if we convert it to an average over here. So we have this part because this makes the solver work nicely, and this part just to make sense of what we're doing. So over in, where are we? E19. Just type in equals B15 divided by 8. Okay, and it's don't worry about the number for now, just make sure right here it should say equals B15 divided by 8. So that's going to actually, no, that's not what we want. Sorry, erase that. Okay, so in E19, it should say equals B19 divided by what do I want to put here? Maybe it's divided by 8. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so I think it should say equals B19 divided by 8. Okay, and so that's the formula. We'll leave that now in E19 equals B19 divided by 8. Okay, and then in this one, F19, let's say this is equal to C19 divided by 6. I think I might have messed this up. Yeah. Okay, this should be the quality obtained, the average quality obtained, which means it's the quality obtained divided by the barrel sold, I think. So let me fix this one more time because I forgot what to do here. So I think it should be E19, change it one more time to equals B19 divided by B15. Okay, so yeah, so that means that the quality we got divided by the number is going to give us the average. Okay, so equals B19 divided by B15. And this one equals C19 divided by C15. Okay, so sorry, I messed those up, but in E19 again, it's equals B19 divided by B15. And this one is equals C19 divided by C15. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now let's get the objective, which is revenue. Okay, so let's put that big sum product formula into B24 to get our revenue. Okay, so in the yellow cell in B24 equals sum product. All right, this is the formula if you have it in step 7. Okay, so the formula is equals sum product in parentheses B15 to C15, comma B8 to C8, and then close the parentheses, then plus a second sum product formula, then in those parentheses G13 to G14, comma B4 to B5. Okay, and we should get $825,040, and let me show you what we're getting here. So we're getting the sum product of all the things we can possibly sell. So if we sell, so the first thing, see, is for the heating oil and gasoline. So this times this, like if this is the price of gasoline, and we sell that many barrels, then that's our revenue from that. If we sell this much heating oil too, at $60 per barrel, then that's our revenue from that. And then if there's any left over after the model solves, we can sell leftover ones back at 65, that times that, and leftover twos back at 50, that times that. So you can see that based on the situation, there's 4 possible things we can sell to make revenue. Both of the gasoline and heating oils at 75 and 60. Then any leftovers at these prices back to the wholesaler. And these are the prices here. Okay, so it's some product of 4 things that should give us for now. All right, so do we get that? Everybody good so far?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is solve this. And so next step is we're going to use solver to maximize revenue. Okay, so again, let's make sure that everyone has solver again. So if you click on the data tab, we've used this a few times, but so confirm that you have solver. When you click on data, you see that solver thing that we've used the last couple times. And so if anyone was unable to load solver or missed the last couple meetings or whatever, let me know. So does anyone not have solver right now? Or make a little, make a
Yes,
post.
I still don't have Solver. I've tried it. I've tried it through the Office 360, like you said,
Yeah.
but I like have trouble like trying to find out what to do through Office 360 too.
Okay. So are you using the Office 360 Excel right now?
No, because I don't know how to access the file through there. Like I don't know how to open it through Office 365.
Oh, I see. So it defaults back to your other version?
Yes, it just defaults back to my other version. Yeah.
Um,
I could if you could stay after class, I could try to figure it out.
yeah, I think I can figure that out. I think you just need to like right click it and say open with the other, like,
Oh, okay, I'll try.
so let me show you what I mean. Like, can you close the file, whatever Excel file it is, and then right click it and go to open with and see if there's, and that might give you the options.
Yes, I'll do that right now. Sorry.
No,
Okay. Right click it. You said?
yeah, right click it and there should be an option in that menu that says open with.
Is that after you downloaded it?
Yeah. So you have to download it and then go to the file wherever it's downloaded, like your downloads or your, I don't know, your desktop,
Yeah.
and then right click it and see if you can open with a different, like, if you right click, you should see like in the menu open with option.
It doesn't have an open with option. It just says open, always open files of this type, show in folder, copy download link, or report this file as unsafe, and delete file.
Okay, well, I'll try to, yeah, so let me try to help you after we're done. And
Yeah,
then
no problem.
I think we can, yeah, so I think you just have to tell your computer to, like, you have to specify just like when you change a printer to the default, once you make the new version your default, then it should just do that.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Yeah, I know how to do it, I just don't know how to do it specifically on your computer. All right, so just, yeah, if you can't do the solver, just save it and you can finish it later, but you should be able to get to this point. All right, so everyone else has solver, I think. Okay, so let's use solver, assuming we all have it, everyone else, to solve this model. So go to Data tab and click on the solver button to run solver. Okay, so we are gonna maximize revenue by changing the blending plan. And we have the resource constraint, and we have the quality constraint. Okay, so you can click the objective, you can click on this button and choose B24, right? The yellow cells are objective. Okay, and hit that. And leave that as maximize. Okay, by changing variable cells, click on this button, and we're going to choose all the orange cells, which is B13 to C14, right? So we're choosing this range. Hit that button. Okay, and we have two constraint ranges. So solve subject to the constraints, click on add. The first one's going to say that used has to be less than or equal to available. We can't use more oil than we have in the reserve. Okay, so cell reference, hit that. Oops. D13 to D14, choose that. It's got to be less than or equal to, leave that the same. As constraint, hit that button. F13 to F14, choose that. Okay, so we specify that D13 to D14 is got to be less than or equal to F13 to F14. Click on OK. Okay, so you should see at this point it should have defaulted your range names, assuming you made the range names. So you should see objective is total revenue, maximize by changing blending plan, and you should see the first constraint use less than or equal to available. So if we know the range names at the start, it should automatically put those in. Okay, one more constraint, click on add, which is going to be the quality constraint. So we need to specify cell reference, hit that button, that quality obtained, B19 to G19, choose that, and flip the sign around to greater than, okay, greater than or equal to sync up with that. And the constraint, hit that button, is quality required, which is B21 to C21. Okay, so here's B19 to C19 is greater than or equal to B21 to C21. Hit OK. Okay, and then this box, which says make unconstrained variables non-negative, check that if it's not checked, and make sure this solving method is simplex LP. And I think that's what we need. So just double check your parameters. Objective total revenue, maximize. We're changing blending plan, and you have the two constraints: quality obtained, greater than or equal to quality required and used, less than or equal to available. That's checked and that's simplex. And again, make sure this one is greater than right here. So make sure that sign is the correct direction. Okay, so we can solve, yeah. And hopefully it says solver found a solution. If it did, hit the OK button. And I believe our solution is 975,000. Okay, so I'll go through the little solution here, but did that work? Did we get that?
Yep.
All right, great. So here's what
Professor.
yeah.
Sorry, my solver wasn't working at first, and it wasn't popping up when I was clicking it. Do you mind going through the formulas again for solver?
Oh yeah, so you have it now?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, so just you can look at here's the solver parameters. So I'll just leave it up for a second so you can. Oh, you mean? So okay, so you want to do the selections for solver? Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So let's see. All right. So the objective, hit that button, is B24. Okay, maximize that. You're changing the blending plan, so hit that button. And the blending plan is B13 to C14. Hit that. Then our two constraints. Click on add. The first one is used is less than or equal to available, so cell reference is D13 to D14, and constraint is F13 to F14. Okay, hit OK. Then the quality constraint is quality obtained. Cell reference is B19 to C19. Choose that and flip this sign around to greater than or equal to. Oops. And the constraint is quality required, which is B21 to C21. And hit OK. All right, and then just make sure this box is checked and this is simplex, and then the rest of it should look like this. So I guess I did it twice, but okay. So double check that your solver parameters look like this, and then if they do, you can solve it.
Okay, thank you.
Good. You're welcome. All right, so hit solve and hit OK, and hopefully you got 975,000 for your total revenue maximization. Yeah. Okay, so let's go through the solution. So we chose to sell. Oh, that's right. All right, so we chose to sell 5,000 barrels of gasoline, and we chose to sell 10,000 barrels of heating oil at gasoline 75 and heating oil at $60. So the revenue is this times this plus this times this, and see we used all the crude oil, so there's nothing left over we have to worry about there. So it's just the revenue is a combination of the total we got from selling gasoline and selling heating oil. And you can see that we used all the crude oil 1, we used all the crude oil 2. These come out nicely, and you can see if we did this right, it shows that the quality level is exactly what we needed for each. 8 for 8 and 6 here. And yeah, we got the best revenue we can get is 975,000. All right, so now steps 9 and 10 are solver table. And so remember, if you're able to use solver table, on a Windows computer, then you can do these steps. If you couldn't get solver table to work, or if you're using a Mac and couldn't get the version to work, then the solver table stuff is optional. And so you can either just you don't have to the solver table steps 9 and 10. Not required for credit for this assignment, so you can try to follow along if you're able to use solver table. But if you can't, don't worry about it. It's optional. Okay, so I'm going to use solver table to do a few tables, and if you're able to do it, great. If not, don't worry about it. Okay, so I need to reactivate solver table. So if you are using Windows and want to reactivate solver table, you can do this. File, options, add-ins, and then down here where it says Manage Excel Add-ins, click on Go, and click on Browse. And if you downloaded it, it's probably in your downloads. Okay, so when you're here, browse. Okay, and if you download a solver table from Blackboard, it should show up in your downloads or wherever your default downloads go to, and you can just choose whatever solver table one it is. Hit OK. Hit yes. And hit OK. All right, so you can see that I have solver table now. Right here. Okay, so if you're able to get solver table, if you're using Windows, and you got it to work, it'll be up here in a separate tab that says solver table. So again, this step is optional. You don't have to do it to get credit. But does anyone that was able to use solver table last time or need help with solver table? All right, so let's do the couple steps for solver table. Optional, but just you can still see what's going on. So we're going to see what happens if, number one, the prices of the crude oil change. So I'm going to hit solver table. I'm going to run solver table. Okay, let's do it two-way and hit OK. And I'm going to specify changing the crude oil 1 price and the crude oil 2 price and see how that affects our optimal solution. So input cell 1 is B4 for crude oil 1. Choose that. Input cell 2 is B5 for crude oil 2. Okay, so this is the crude oil 1 price and this is the crude oil 2 price. All right, and so the idea here is to see if these values go up or down, what's going to happen to our solution. So see how this one is 65 to start and this is 50? If this was less than or bigger than that value, what would happen to our solution? Like would this value change enough that we would not use it to make the other types and sell it independently? So let's see. So I'm going to have it go from maybe 50 to 7, how about 50 to 90? Okay, 50 to 90 in increments of 5. And this one started at 50, so how about this one goes from 35 to 75? In increments of 5, I'm just specifying values. So I'm just trying to see if this went below or above this, how would that change? And the same with this one. So I'm just specifying values that are somewhat below and somewhat above the original values for the crude oil prices. And how does that affect the barrels sold, the leftover, and the objective? So output cell B15 to C15, comma, and hold down the control button. G13 to G14, and then comma, hold down the control button. B24. So I want to see how that affects the barrels we sell of each type, leftover if any, and then our revenue. Okay. So if you're able to set up the table, it should look like this. And again, this is completely optional. So this is input cell 1, B4, which is the crude oil 1 price. This is B5, which is the crude oil 2 price. I'm going to see what happens if this price changes from 50 to 90 in increments of 5, and what happens to this one if it changes from 35 to 75 in increments of 5, and how that affects B15 to C15, the barrels we sell, G13 to G14, which is the leftover, and then the objective, B24. Okay, so hopefully this works. Let's hit OK. All right, so here's what this tells us. If you're not able to get the solver table, you can still see the implications here. So this is what happens to when the prices of the crude oils change. So this is the crude oil 1 price is down the side, and the crude oil 2 price goes this way. And so you can see at some point the crude oils, the bulk prices become more valuable than the actual product it turns into. And so if the crude oil 2 price goes to 75, or actually, let's see. Yeah, so like if the crude oil 2 price went to 75 and the crude oil 1 price went to 90, we wouldn't sell any gasoline or heating oil because it's more profitable just to sell the wholesale price back, right? Because that became more valuable. All right. And instead, we sell the leftover because the leftover is worth now more than the final product. So see, like, let me show you what I mean here. So you don't have to do this, but if I were to change one of these prices high enough, then the idea is that this becomes more valuable than using it to make gasoline or heating oil. So what if I change this to 90? Okay, and I reran the solver. Well, that's not what. Well, it looks like we got the same thing, but that's not what I thought we were going to get. All right, there we go. So see it now. Look what happened. All right, so that was the tipping point. So see how if this price of crude oil 1 went up from 65 to 100, and this stays the same at 50, what happens is the companies realize that this is now the most valuable thing compared to these other things, and so it just keeps the crude oil 1 at wholesale, and sells that at the wholesale price of 100. So see, if this went up to 100 and nothing else changed, we just sell that back, all of it, all 5,000 at 100, and the rest of the crude oil too, and nothing of the heating oil and gas. So you have to check the price of the bulk prices, and if you're it's like an opportunity cost thing. So if the opportunity cost of your resources become more valuable than selling the final product, then just sell the wholesale thing back. Okay. All right, let me change this back. What was it? 65. All right, so this is what we had to start with. Okay. Okay, and then I'll do one more real quick just to show that if the gasoline price changes as well, then that affects your values as well. So this one, I checked. This one I checked if the crude oil prices themselves go up or down, what happens? Now let's see if the prices of the market prices of the gasoline and heating oil change. How does that affect our solution? Okay, so one more solver table, and then we just got to do a sensitivity report, and we're almost done with this model here. Okay, so if you want to do the solver table, again, this is optional. Click on the model tab, solver table, run solver table, yes, two-way, okay. And the good thing is it should have some of the things from last time. So the output cells are the same. The only thing I'm going to change is this will now become the price of gasoline, B8, and this will now become the price of heating oil, C8. Okay, so the idea is to see if this goes up or down, what happens. So the original price of gasoline was 75, so I'm just going to make it something below and above that slightly. So how about 50 to 100? And this one was 60, so how about that goes from 50 to 90? All right, and the output cells are the same, so I can leave those. All right, so let me hit OK. Okay, so this should show what happens when the prices of the gasoline and the heating oil go up or down. This is the gas price going down the column, and this is the heating oil price going up along the top. And what happens to the barrels sold of gasoline, heating oil, and the leftovers. All right, and there's some combinations where we sell one of the final products and then the rest at the bulk. All right, so see what happens here if we do. So if the price of gasoline goes down to 50, okay, what happens is we don't sell any more gasoline. And let's say that the heating oil price goes up to 90. All right, so we're here, 50 and 90, which means we don't sell any gasoline. We sell a bunch of heating oil. We don't sell any leftover one. And we only sell it, yeah, so it all depends on what, on the value of each individual product. So that'll affect your solution. If these things change, or these prices change, then the model reoptimizes to see which one is the most valuable. All right. So again, solver tables are completely optional. You don't have to do those. I just wanted to show kind of what they imply for this model. Last step. Okay, last step is let's run a sensitivity report. All right. So step 11, you do have to do this. All you have to do is run the solver again. So data, solver, and just solve it again. And then when you get to this solver results box over here where it says reports, click on sensitivity and hit OK. Okay, and this shows, remember the thing we're interested in is the shadow prices. And so I just wanted you to see the shadow prices for the crude oils. Okay, so these two values here are the only thing we're looking at, which shows the value of each barrel. Okay, so the shadow price for crude oil 1 is 25, and the shadow price for crude oil 2 is 2.5. And those are the value of an additional one more of each of the constraints. So you can see from the model that we used all 5,000 of the crude oil 1, and we used all 10,000 of the crude oil 2. Now the shadow price tells us the value of getting one more of each of these. So what this tells us is if we get one more crude oil 1 and use it to solve, then that'll give us an additional revenue of $25. And if we get one more crude oil 2, that'll give us a revenue boost of $2.50. So this is the value of getting one more barrel of each type, right? And let me confirm that that's the case by showing you that if I give us one more of these, our revenue is going to go up by $25. Okay, so I'm gonna add one to this, give us one more barrel, and that's gonna boost our revenue to $975.25. Okay. So if I just change this to 5,001 and solve it again. Okay, did not do what I want. This. Well, what gave us an extra 90? Not 25. Oh. Well, so it said the shadow price was 25, which means that getting one more of these should have given us $25 revenue, but instead we got an extra 90. Interesting. Change this back. Okay, let me try this one. Let's see if this one gives us another 250. All right, I don't know what's going on here. It's not, I'm gonna put it back to where it was. All right, so here's the original solution. We got 975,000. This should have been, this should have showed us the value of uh, each of the barrels, but it's not doing what I thought it would, so whatever. Okay, so let's just leave it at this. So we got your model is, you don't need to do the solver tables. So you got this, which shows the optimal solution where you get 975,000, and you got the sensitivity report, which just shows the shadow prices. So this and this are what you need for this one. All right, so we're done here with this one. You can save that. And that is going to go. So people have already turned it in. That's going to go to Example44. That's due next Monday. All right, so you can post that, or whenever you finish that, post that there. Okay, let's do one practice question, and then we'll be done with this exercise. So if you go to Example44, and you click on Example44 practice question solved. Okay, so we got something similar to what we just did. And a type of question you could answer is one like this. So you got the model, which is mostly solved, and you got the sensitivity report, and then you got some questions. All right, so I think there's one like this on the take-home exam, so they're similar. So part A, given the current parameters, calculate the objective. And so remember your revenue is how much you make from selling gasoline, heating oil, and or leftovers, if any, right? So this is the price of gasoline, this is the price of heating oil, and that's the price of each crude oil, okay? And look at, we sell 15,000 of this at $100, 5,000 of this at 75, and there's nothing left over. So the revenue is just 100 times 15,000 plus 75 times 5,000. So we sell 5,000 of these at 75, 15,000 of these at 100, and nothing left over. Right? So the revenue is the combination of those two. This is for gasoline. This is for heating oil, and then the total revenue comes out to 1,875,000. Okay, B. Identify each constraint as binding or non-binding, and you can calculate their slack if there's any. So let's just list the constraints first. Okay, so each inequality is a separate constraint. So that means that crude oil 1, you can't use more than you have available, and the same for crude oil 2. So let's specify that crude oil 1 used has to be less than or equal to what's available, and the same for crude oil 2. Okay, so first constraint is crude oil 1 is got to be less than or equal to crude oil available. Crude oil 1 used is got to be less than or equal to crude oil 1 available, and the same for crude oil 2. Crude oil 2 used is got to be less than or equal to crude oil 2 available. All right, and the other two constraints are for the quality. Okay, so the quality required has to be greater than or equal to the quality obtained has to be greater than or equal to the quality required for each type. So quality obtained gasoline has to be greater than or equal to the quality required for gasoline. And the last one, the quality obtained for heating oil has to be greater than or equal to the quality required for heating oil, right? And then you can see that we use all of there's nothing left over, so we used all 10,000 here. We used all 10,000 here, and these are exactly equal, so that means that all the constraints are binding, there's nothing left over. And if they're all binding, and there's nothing left over, there's no slack. So we use all this, We use all of this, and these are exactly equal. And so therefore, all the constraints are binding. And there's nothing left over, which means that the slack is 0. And so anytime you get a binding constraint, you use the whole resource, no slack. And if it was non-binding, the slack would be the difference between what you were given and what you used. Okay, and then finally part C, interpret the shadow prices for the resource constraints in D13 to F14. Okay, so remember the shadow prices tell us the value of the barrel, even though it didn't do that exactly in the model, but that's what it should tell you, is this is how much an additional barrel of each type is worth to the company. So we had 10,000 barrels of crude oil 1, we used all 10,000. We had 10,000 barrels of crude oil 2, and we used all 10,000. Now what the shadow price tells us is the boost in the objective, which is revenue, if we get one more barrel of each. So 65 for crude oil 1. So that means if the firm gets one more barrel of crude oil 1 and uses it, then total revenue will increase by that shadow price, which is 65. So if this goes up by 1, revenue should go up by 65. Okay, and then the crude oil 2 is a little less valuable, but this is the shadow price for that. So this means 12.5. If the firm gets one more barrel of crude oil 2 and uses it, then total revenue will go up by $12.50. So again, these shadow prices, 65 and 12.50, are the value of getting one more of the right side of the constraint. So one more crude oil 2, we get an extra $65. One more crude oil 1, we get an extra $65. One more crude oil 2, we get an extra $12.50, right? Okay, so questions on this, on calculating the objective, doing the constraints, and importantly, interpreting the shadow prices? Oh, so I missed the question. Okay, so all right, so there was a question about the take-home exam, and so the take-home exam is actually already posted. Okay, so let me just finish. So we're done with example 4.4. So the model for blending oil goes here whenever you're done with that by next Monday. And then on Wednesday, the plan is to go over a practice exam and do some practice problems for the midterm. And if you look on Blackboard, if you scroll down to midterm 1, the stuff we're going to go over and talk about and do like a little review session for Wednesday is here, practice exam midterm 1. And then the midterm 1 that you're going to have to do by next Monday is right here in Word document and PDF. And so I'll go over it on Wednesday, but if you want to look at it, if you want to, technically you can start working on it whenever you want, but we'll do the review on Wednesday and we'll talk about the exam on Wednesday. But this right here, midterm 1, spring 2021, is your midterm. So you're welcome to look at that beforehand if you want. And we'll talk about it on Wednesday. But midterm 1, spring 2021, right here. This is the same document in PDF in Word form, and that's your actual exam that's going to be due on next Monday. Okay. All right. Okay, so I think we'll finish a little bit early today, and so make sure you get these two turned in by today if you haven't done so already. Example 3.1 and 4.3. This is due next Monday. Wednesday we'll do some review questions for the exam and go over the exam, but if you want to look at it, it's already here under midterm 1, spring 2021 on Blackboard. Okay, and then I can help the individual who needed to open the right version of Office.
Yes.
But yeah, so stick around for a second, and then the rest of us, I think that's all I want to do for today. So make sure you come on Wednesday because we're going to talk about the exam and go over some practice problems there. But I think that's it for today, and have a good rest of your week, and stay safe, and I'll see you Wednesday morning at 7:40.
Professor, I've been having trouble getting that tool as well.
The solver?
Yes.
Okay, are you using what version of Excel are you using?
2016.
So you should, so yours should have it. So when you are you using a Mac or a Windows?
Yes, I'm on Mac.
And then when you try to load it, it doesn't show up, or it doesn't.
Well, yeah, I remember I shared my screen last week.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So after I tried like doing that, it disappeared. I guess I clicked like the wrong button, so now I can't even access it.
Hmm. Um, and so when you click on Tools and you get to here, you don't see it here at all.
Let me go real quick. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Let me see it. I go to home, correct?
Well, I can't remember exactly, but remember if you look way up here, like up by like the Apple sign, you'll see Tools, and click on Tools, and then under Tools you should see Excel add-ins.
No, I don't see that.
Like
Okay, yeah. When I go to tools and I go to Excel add-ins, all I see is analysis tool pack.
okay, so you must have somehow. Okay, so I think you might still have it in your add-ins. Can you get back to here where, like just the add-ins box like this?
Yes.
And is there a browse button? Can you click on that?
Okay.
And does it take you to the add-ins default like this? Like it should take you right to the add-ins folder?
It's loading.
Okay.
Okay, so when I click browse, like it loads and loads, and then like it doesn't take me anywhere. It just leaves me on the same box.
Hmm. Um, do you know where your Microsoft folder is? Because mine just takes me to the default. Like if I click on browse, it takes me to the add-ins.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can find where your add-ins are located on your computer, then that's where I think it is. You just need to reactivate it.
Okay. So if I go, yeah, I'll just go to the main browse page, like it straight from Excel, and it should be there.
Okay, so do you see it?
Um, no, I don't. But I could look it up. I know where you're at. I know what you mean. I just can't go to that right now for some reason.
Okay, so that's what you need to do is just find where the see what I wish it would just take you right there. So when you click on the browse button, you need to select the file in the add-ins folder for Microsoft. And so if you can find like where your Microsoft folder is located, and then find where just click on add-ins, and it should be there for you.
Right, it should be there.
Yeah, and then all you have to do is click on it and hit open, and it'll pop up on your thing.
Okay. Thank you. I'll do that.
So try doing that, and then if you can't get it working by Wednesday, then send me an email and I'll try to help you.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No problem. You're welcome. Okay. So
Yes.
okay, is this Derek or is this Joseph?
Yes, Derek.
Derek. Okay. All right. So we need to.
I just don't know how to get it through Office 360.
Yeah. Okay. So let's try this. Okay. So are you using a Mac or a Windows?
I'm using a Windows.
Okay. So can you go to any file? Just go to like the blank file. See how this is any Excel file. Can you right click it? Like that. Just
Yeah,
close
hold on one second. Okay, right click it.
Yeah, and do you see the options that like similar to mine?
No, they're not similar.
Okay, let's try this. So
Hold on. Now I have it. Now they're similar to yours.
okay, so do you see this where it says open with?
Yep.
Click on that. And you should hopefully it lists the two. Does it list the different options of Excel or?
It only says Excel. It says look for, and then it says other options, and then look for an app in the Microsoft Store.
Okay. All right, so let's try this. Can you go to like you click on? Do you have this the Windows menu, the Start menu?
Yes.
And you scroll down, and do you see Excel right here under E?
Hold on. What did you say? You click the Windows Start menu. Let me see again.
Yeah. And then just scroll down,
Okay, where's the Windows Start menu again?
like right here in the left corner, the bottom left corner where it says Start.
Okay, cool.
If you scroll down, do you see just one Excel here?
I see multiple.
Okay, so if you see multiple, then one of them is probably the older one, and one of them is probably the newer one. So just click on one of them and see what happens. Like, does it say like?
I've clicked on one of them.
Does it look like this?
No.
Okay, then maybe try clicking the other one and see what happens. click on the other Excel button, like under Windows, and see if that takes you to a different one.
Okay, I've clicked it.
Okay, do you see this?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the one you want to use, I think. So when you have that one open, just click on any. Let's try open, and then just click on the file that you last used. So you have to locate it, and so it might be under downloads or desktop. But can you click on wherever it would be? Like, is it on your desktop? Is it in some folder? I don't know. Where you just
Well,
did?
I've downloaded everything, and a few of them I've put on my computer. So
Okay.
they're mainly in downloads.
Yes. All right. So go there. So if you click on this PC, probably in downloads.
Yes.
It doesn't show anything.
Yeah, I don't see anything on my screen yet.
Oh, those are different downloads. Why is nothing in the...
Now, is this the Office 360 app you're using?
Well, it's not, yeah, it's just the whole, okay, so try this. So can you see here, like on the open page?
Yeah.
Click on browse.
Yeah. Yep. I've clicked on browse. Sorry.
All right, do you have something like this open?
Yes.
Are you in downloads?
No, I'm not in downloads.
Okay, so click on this PC and then double click downloads.
Okay, now I'm in downloads.
Okay, and then just open open the most recent one and just hit open, and it should open it then with this version and not the other version.
Okay, I've opened it.
All right, and now let's try to get Solver to activate. So click on File and
Okay.
then Options down here. And then when you're here, click on Add-ins on the left side like that. And then down here where it says Manage Excel Add-ins, click on Go. And does it take you here?
Yes.
And you see Solver add-in?
I only see analysis. Yeah, solver add-in right
Yeah,
there.
click on Solver add-in and hit OK. And then when you get back to the file, if you click on Data tab, you should see the solver.
Yep.
All right, so that's it. So it should be there from now on, but you might want to.
It's still not working. I just clicked it. It's not working.
What's it say?
It's doing the same thing as last time.
Oh, it just says like,
Yeah, it says cannot run the macro solver dot slam whatever. The macro may not be available in the workbook, or all macros may be disabled.
hmm.
Do I need to update my Excel? I mean, this is a fairly new computer, but
No, you shouldn't. If you're using the one that you got through the school, it should be the up-to-date version. That's the one other students are using, and you shouldn't have to update it. It should just.
okay. Well, I can't. I can't. The thing is like I can't open it up through the school.
Oh, I thought you did. No?
No. I'm sorry. I didn't.
Oh, so
Oh, wait. I think. Okay, hold on. I think I might have done something on accident. It's doing it. Okay, I opened it up through the school now. Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, I just did it. Okay. You said data and go to solver.
yeah. Data.
Well, I probably have to redo the file.
So if you're on, are you on the file here like this?
Yes, I'm on that file.
All
I
right.
just uploaded it
Okay, great. It's probably
through
gonna,
the
yeah.
thing
So when you get here, click on the File tab.
file tab
Yep. And then click on Options.
options.
And then click on Add-ins.
Hold on, it's not letting me. Options. When you click on options, it just says regional format settings. Change your regional format settings for Excel.
You don't get this thing here?
No, it just tells me to change my options so I can open that. It says change your regional format settings for Excel for the web.
Oh, so you're using, I think you're using the web version.
The what?
Are you using the online version?
Yes.
Okay, so I think you need to use the desktop version of the school, the new one. So can you download the new one to your desktop? It should be, it's free.
How do you download it?
So like when you go to,
Oh, okay.
what is this?
It says to buy right now. I put Microsoft Excel student, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
So it should,
here's the free. This one says free 365
yeah.
schools. There we go. And then enter just my email.
Yeah, you put your email right here.
Deliver an email. Got it.
Yeah. And you click on Get Started.
I put I am a student
Yep, put that.
and then sign in.
Yep. Should look just like this.
And then I would like Microsoft to share information with the selection. Yeah.
Okay, it should take you to something like this, and then from here, you should be able to,
Yes. Okay. It took me there. And now bending. Yeah. Okay. And then do I click on this?
let's see. So just, let's see. If you click on Excel, and then I'm trying to get to a, Yeah, so this is still the online version, but how do we download this to your computer? Oh, here we go. So click on the home tab here, the home thing.
Oh, okay.
Install Office here.
Oh, install Office. Okay.
Yes. So it might take a while, but you need to it should install Office on your computer. And then,
Office 365 apps.
yep, yeah. So just click on Install Office and then click on that button to download it.
Okay. Says we're getting things ready.
Yeah, it might take a little while. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that should give you Word, Excel, and all this other stuff. I don't even know what this.
Okay.
What is OneNote? I don't know. What that is.
It says it's gonna be a while.
Yeah, so that's gonna work. So when that downloads, just open up that Excel version
And then hit the options, the add-ins, go to Go, and then click on Solver, and then just make sure that Solver works on it.
yeah, so File, Options, Add-ins, Go, and click on it. And then if you forget something, we're still recording, so you can watch this again real quick if you want.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Professor.
And that should work. But all
Okay,
right, so,
thank you.
yeah, you're welcome.
Professor.
Yeah.
This is Joseph. Sorry, I was having some issues too, so I was watching it. Just like
Yeah, no problem.
I'm good now. I'm good now. I had a quick question about the class too.
Sure.
For participation, is that just coming to class for a grade, or are you expecting a little bit more?
Oh, do I even have a participation grade?
Yeah, it says participation 5%.
Oh, I thought that was attendance.
Or attendance.
Oh yeah, that's so attendance is just coming to the WebEx lectures.
Okay, sounds good. Okay,
Yeah, so I'm really not even grading that. Like it's just I'm assuming like as long as you like just tell me you either came to class or watched the video, then you get full credit for that. So that's either coming to class or if you miss it, then you just need to rewatch the video to catch up. But as of now, everyone's got 100% on that. So.
That's okay. Sounds good. That's usually what I do. Sometimes
Yeah.
I'll just like go late, and I for this class again, and like I'll just like miss everything. So if I wake up late, I'll just
Yeah, that's fine. It's really not. I'm basically unless someone tells me like I didn't do it or I didn't come to class or I didn't watch it, then it's not going to be an issue unless students stop or don't turn in the homework. So if you're doing the homeworks, I assume that you had to watch the video or come to class.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so
Awesome.
don't worry about that as long as you turn in the assignments.
Perfect. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Professor.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, I'll just. This is online, right?
Yeah. So we're still recording as long as
Okay.
I'll go ahead and stop it. But yeah, so
Okay. Yeah. I'll just re-pick up on the solver functions when it downloads and everything. That way I
yeah.
could turn in the full completed thing.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor.
Yep. All right, both of you guys are good.
Thank
Yep.
you. Yeah.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
I was hiding in the background. I was just like trying to make sure I'm doing everything right too.
No, that's fine.
Sure. Have a
Okay.
good one.
All right, you too.
Bye bye.